Hello, thanks for joining us today. We are the Teen Librarians with Arapahoe Libraries, bringing you book recommendations for high school. Whether you're in high school or like to read young adult books, you might find something interesting for you in this list. So we're going to hop right in.
I picked up this book. It's a book of poetry. I picked it up because I watched the inauguration this year, and Amanda Gorman was the poet who performed at the inauguration, and I really loved her work. And I looked, and she does have some books coming, but they weren't out yet. So I picked up this book, which includes it's a poetry collection, and I really loved it. It deals with some of the same themes that I heard Amanda Gorman talk about, but this one is a whole collection together. And this artist or poet, Sophia, she is a spoken word poet as well. You can find her work on YouTube, so you can see her perform it, which is wonderful. She's really, really cool and talented. And if you're the sort of person who sometimes reading poetry isn't, you don't find it as interesting, I recommend that you check out her videos and try watching it and then maybe grab this book, because together it's wonderful. And this is a collection where she's kind of grouped different types of poems together. So they deal with different themes. I would give sort of a content warning or a heads up that some of the stuff that she covers in here, there's anxiety, there's maybe a content warning for self-harm, a few things like that. But there's also just stories about life. So she talks about everything. She talks about friends, and she talks about romance. She talks about family. She talks about kind of figuring yourself out in this really lyrical, almost musical style of her poetry. It's so good, and I enjoyed it so much. And I'm not somebody who normally picks up a book of poetry to read. So I feel like that's maybe an endorsement that this is the type of poetry that is so good that even a non-poetry person gets into it. So give it a try. She's a poet from the UK, and she's biracial, and there's all sorts of really just fascinating poetry in this book. I can't recommend it highly enough.
We Are Not Free by Tracy Chee is an excellent choice if you like World War II historical fiction, or if you're more curious about the experience of Japanese Americans in living in the United States during that time. It is I found the format of the book very fascinating, because there are 14 chapters, and each chapter is told from a different character's perspective, and all of the stories intertwine because all of these different characters know one another. And so you can see the threads of the other characters in each story, even if they're not the one telling it. But it follows 14 Nisei teens. Nisei are second generation Japanese Americans, and the story really starts off as most of the people that live in their community are being sent to internment camps in California. And so this is their experience of what that was like. And you get stories, everything from the young girl who dreamed of being a blonde bombshell movie star to a young man who just wanted to leave and go to college, to various young men who enrolled in the 442, which was a very decorated military unit that fought in Europe that was made up entirely of Japanese young men, Japanese American young men. And so you get all of these different perspectives, so many different stories, but you also get to understand the anger and betrayal and hurt that these people were going through, feeling betrayed by their country, being forced to take loyalty surveys where if you answered wrong, there was a chance you would be deported. It is a story that is heartbreaking and hopeful at the same time. I highly recommend it if you're looking to know more about our history in the United States.
Hot Dog Girl is a really fun, realistic story that has a mix of romance in it. And it's about Lou, and she just wants to have an epic summer. She's determined to have an epic summer. She wants to have as much fun as she can before she is finishing up high school the next year. And she gets a job at the Magic Castle Amusement Park, and she's super excited. But then she finds out that her job is actually as the giant dancing hot dog. So there's a few things in her summer that kind of seem really epic, but she needs to make it that way. It's all about her kind of perspective and what she brings to the table, because her crush works at the park. So she's super excited to be hanging around Nick. He's the pirate there. but his girlfriend is literally the princess of the park. So there's all these things that are like pulling her back and forth. Her best friend Celie gets a job there. She's super excited. She's the carousel operator, and she finds the perfect girlfriend for her. I mean, like they sound like a perfect mashup. But her friend Celie doesn't want anything to do with her. And so she's trying to have everyone have a great summer. But then she finds out that this might be, it potentially is the last year that the park will be open and they're going to close it down. So then that's another loop that gets thrown in because Lou really likes working here and she could see herself doing it another summer. And a lot of high school students like working there. It's kind of what you do in that town. It's a great opportunity to get work experience, but also have friends visit. And so she wants to figure out a way to keep the park open this year. So if you want something that's a little more lighthearted, it's all about like the kind of culture that's formed inside of this park, all the different characters and who they are in real life and who they're like kind of representing when they're there, like the princesses and pirates and things. It's really funny and it's a lot about friendships as you know they're going through this work experience, new and old, kind of pops up. I really enjoyed it. She is hilarious and kind of what she goes through, it feels very real. It feels like you could be her friend. You could be someone that's working at this park and experiencing this. So that's Hot Dog Girl.
Camp Spirit is a graphic novel that I really enjoyed. It's a mixture of like funny, kind of gross, and creepy weird, and it takes place at a summer camp. The main character Elodie is, I believe, like a high school junior or senior, and her mom is making her go to summer camp to be a counselor and work for the summer. It's set in the mid 90s, and this is a story where if you've ever been to summer camp or if you've ever, seen a movie about summer camp, this book is really entertaining. It has all of the beats from summer camp, all of the gross things and the funny things and the wonderful things together. And there's an added mystery. Elodie doesn't want to be there. She's very disaffected. She's grumpy. She's not friends with the other counselors. The kids that she gets assigned are very rambunctious, might be a polite way to put it. Bad is maybe another way to put it, and she's not looking forward to any of it. She's having a bad time, and then weird things start to happen. There's some sort of strange deer that there's sort of rumors about. There's sort of a story by the camp, like the head of the camp, the camp chief they call him, about this sort of mythical legend of two brothers and these spirits, and weird mystery things start to go on. There's also some there's a cute lesbian romance that just kind of peeks into the story at different points. And there's all of the ridiculous over the top camp shenanigans that are really entertaining, really funny. My one content warning with this one, there's plenty of swearing. Those kids like get it between their teeth, a bit between their teeth, and just kind of run. And then there's also some frank discussion. Really, it's more insults. Some frank insults about bodies and body parts. So know that going in, it's very, very real life to camp experience, I would say. But it's very entertaining. The art is great.
If you like novels in verse or written in a poetry format, I highly recommend The Truth Project by Dante Medema. It is the story of Cordelia, who is she's in her senior year of high school, and she's kind of coasting along. She feels pretty much done. She's been accepted to the college that she wants, and really all that she has left is to do her senior project. And she's decided to kind of take an easier route. She's going to model her project after one that her older sister did a few years ago, because she already kind of knows the ins and outs. And so she decides she's going to do a DNA project where she submits her DNA to a company, kind of like 23andMe, if you're familiar with it, and they will give you the results. And they will also tell you the connections that you have to people that you might be related to. And so she does that, seems like everything's going to be fine. And then when she gets her results back, she discovers that she has 0 DNA connections with the man she believes is her father. She is related biologically to her mother, but not her father. And her entire worldview is kind of shattered because either she is adopted, which she believes for a little while, or her mother has lied about who her father is. And so this is the story of Cordelia's journey of self-discovery and coming to terms with the fact that her mother has lied to her and her dad for many, many years. It looks like her mother had an affair. And so her father is some man who lives in Seattle that she has never met before, and will probably never meet. And so it's a really interesting story. And she is expressing what you are reading is her poetry notebook as she is writing out the things that she's going through and the feelings that she starts to feel, especially as she starts to try to contact her biological father and what that experience is like for her. So if you like realistic stories that are I will warn, a little bit heavier, a little bit sad at times, I do recommend The Truth Project.
The Inheritance Games is really good. If you have read One of Us is Lying or enjoyed the movie Knives Out, this one is definitely for you. It's a super fantastic thriller mystery. And Avery, ever since her mom has passed away, she's lived with her older sister, and it's been a pretty difficult situation. Her sister doesn't have the best relationships, and it's caused some difficult situations for her. She really just wants to get through high school, get a scholarship, graduate, and move on to college. That's her goal. She's determined until one day out of the blue, this person comes to the door. It's a lawyer and demands her at the reading of the will of this billionaire Tobias Hawthorne. He has passed away, and she's required to come. They can't open the will until she's there. She has no idea who this is. She's never heard of anyone named with the last name Hawthorne. She knows nothing. And when she gets there, it becomes very obvious that something is going on. The whole family's there. She doesn't know anyone. She thought maybe something would come out when she met them, but nothing. And so when they open the will, they're very surprised when it says that she owns pretty much everything. She owns the house that they're standing in. She owns everything. But there's a little line in there that says she must live in that Hawthorne house for a year. And if she leaves in that, then the will is canceled and there's a secondary will that will go in place. And she's very confused. She doesn't know kind of what to do. They get to move her sister in and everything. And to make matters worse, all four grandsons live there and several of the other family that pretty much got nothing from this will. They got huge chunks, but to them, it felt like nothing compared to her. And so now she's trying to figure out who this guy was, why her, why now. And it's really interesting. He loved puzzles and riddles and codes, and she happens to be very good at them. She's very smart and can figure things out very quickly. It starts with getting over 100 keys to enter the house as a joke, they think, and she figures out quite quickly which one opens the door. And that's when the grandsons figure out that there's something within this will that they need to figure out. So if you like those kind of stories that you're guessing along the way, you're trying to figure it out, the castle itself or the house itself has secret passages, tunnels that lead to rooms that nobody knows about. There's all different layers in this story. And I thought I had it pretty set for a while, and it definitely twists and turns, and so you're really trying to solve it with them as well. So see why Avery and why this family, and see what's going on in the Inheritance Game. You won't regret it. It's really good. All right. Thank you for joining us today. Those are all of our books. Hopefully you found some to put on your to read list, and we will see you next time. Have a good day.